You're on.
Okay. So hi Malcolm and hi Courtney.
Good morning or good afternoon in your case.
Yeah, it's afternoon. So welcome to Courtney on Health. It's a new month, and for those of you back east, we have a heck of a snowstorm outside here. So exercising indoors is a good idea, especially today. So Courtney focused on standing core exercises last week. So
Yeah.
this week it's core part deux, as in two, and she will take it down to the floor for mat-based work. So get down on your gluteus maximus, shake your booty, as it will help stabilize your spine and create better body movement. So
Yeah.
core, yeah, Courtney, what core exercises will you be doing today? And can you refresh us as to why the core is so important to help maintain balance and stability?
Yeah, thanks and welcome. And yeah, beautiful snowy day today. So the core muscles, as a reminder, are more than just your abs. Those are the muscles that, of course, include your abdominal muscles, but they are the muscles along your oblique area. So those are the muscles along the side of your abdominal area. They are muscles in your back, particularly those muscles that support your spine, that flank your spine from top down to the bottom. And they do include your gluteal muscles as well. So more muscles than just your abs. So important to keep them strong. No matter what sport you participate in, a stronger core is going to help you do better in any sport that you are playing or activity that you're doing. But it's also helpful for stability and balance at any point throughout our lifespan. So really key to keep it strong. Last week we did standing, as you mentioned. This week we're going to bring it down to the ground. No equipment needed whatsoever except your total body weight. We're going to go 5 different exercises today, but these are by no means the only mat-based core exercises you can do. These just happen to be, 5 of the list. So you can always build on this, and I would encourage you to experiment. So if you're new to exercise, maybe just do 1, 2 to start, and then as you get stronger, you can add to your list. So we're going to bring it down to the ground. If you don't have a mat at home, you can use a towel, a beach towel, anything that's on the thinner side. You just on a hard floor can be a little rough on particularly your sit bones and your spine. So anything that offers a little bit of cushioning is going to be really helpful and just more comfortable for you. But you don't need to necessarily have a mat. This is a thinner yoga mat. For those of you who do yoga, mats come in all different thicknesses. Yoga mats are very thin and nice and tiny. So if you're doing yoga, you're able to get good grip with your hands and your feet. So that's what this one is here, but really whatever you're comfortable with or whatever you have at home. So the first thing we're going to start with is a plank. In particular, this is going to be an elbow plank. There are different types of planks to do. There's a side plank, there's a straight arm plank, all excellent, but in particular, the elbow plank is going to really recruit a lot of those muscles that we just spoke about. So once you're down on the ground, I think it's probably best to start in the all 4 position. So on the knees and resting up on your hands, dropping into low. So your tailbone is low, your back is straight. We don't want any fannies up in the air like this, and we don't want them hanging out like this. Nice flat table, as flat tabletop as you can get. Once you're in position, drop down so that you're resting on your forearms. Now you're on your toes. You're going to hold here for as long as you can, really, until you're basically failure, your arms get too tired. What's really important here to remember is that you're keeping your navel into your spine, okay? Nice and strong. For anybody who's done yoga before, it's a very common phrase to help engage those abdominal muscles so that you're always protecting your back. So that's your elbow plank. That could be our first one for today.
Wow.
The next 2 are really a spin on a bridge. Do you guys know bridge?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. My PT would make me do that every session.
Yeah.
Bridges.
Yeah. So your standard bridge, so you're going to be flat-footed, knees are up, arms are on each side, okay? Looking straight up to the ceiling to start. So your standard bridge is lifting those the tailbone up. Gluteal muscles are nice and tight. You're driving up through the heels. This is your standard bridge, okay? The first derivation we're going to do is called marching bridge. So everything stays the same. One foot up, knee comes towards your face and comes down. Other leg, opposite, knee comes up and down. So it's almost as if you're marching. The only thing you really want to keep mindful of here, okay, once again, navel to spine, but don't let that tailbone drop down, okay? So that's your marching bridge. The second spin we're doing on the bridge is your figure 4 bridge. So from this position, once again, your gluteals are high, they're nice and tight. Take one foot, cross it over your opposite knee. So it's resting on your thigh, just above your knee. Now what you're going to do here, push up, drop that tailbone down. It doesn't rest on the floor. It just barely grazes it, and you push straight back up again. Tailbone down, push up towards the ceiling. What you do on one side, of course, you must do on the opposite. So then your other foot comes up, tailbone down, push up, tailbone down, push up. So those are two of the exercises that are built around the standard bridge. So I'm often asked how many repetitions, how many sets. So the repetitions, for those of you who are brand new to exercising, that's simply the number of times you're moving through the range of motion, yeah? And your set is a block of those, okay? So you can do as few as 2 sets, some people do 3 sets. And in terms of repetitions, shoot for 8 to maybe 15 repetitions within that one set. So in the case of what we were just doing with the bridge work, you're going to want to do on each side 2 sets, 8 to 15 repetitions on each side. Always very smooth, very controlled, and anytime anything is hurting, stop and readjust. It goes without saying, anytime you are beginning any kind of exercise, it's important to make sure that you're cleared for exercise through your healthcare provider. So some of you might be seasoned exercisers and then you can jump right in. But if you're brand new, you just always want to get that clearance to make sure you're good to go. Our fourth exercise is called the butterfly crunch. So if you're familiar with it, the butterfly position, I'm going to face forward so you can see what I'm doing both directions. Knees out to the side, bottoms of your feet are together. So you look like a butterfly in this position. Okay, so this is your setup. You're going to come down, hands on each side. Start with hands on the side. Bring your hands overhead. Now here's the crunch part. So the butterfly is where your positioning of your legs. Legs come up, arms come up together. You crunch them together. Arms reach back overhead, and then you repeat. Everything comes up together and back down. Last time, up and back down. A couple of tips for the butterfly crunch, as it is with any crunch, okay? You don't want to pull on the head at all. In this case, our arms were high, yeah? So you're not pulling, but your proper neck alignment would be some space in between your chin and your chest. Oftentimes, if I'm working with a group of people, I would give them a visual and say, you know what, pretend like you've got an orange sitting underneath your chin, that kind of space. So that keeps people from dropping their chin too low on their chest. It also keeps them from hanging their head back, which oftentimes puts a lot of stress on that top of the spine or in your neck area. So that visual sometimes helps people with that alignment. Our last exercise that we're going to demonstrate today for those Pilates fans out there. Do either one of you do Pilates? Malcolm? Mel?
No.
No Pilates?
Pilates, nope. Not a Pilates person.
Okay, and listen, it's just, you don't have to do the whole group of them. This just happens to be a very popular mat-based core exercise that happens to be from the Pilates group, and it's called the 100. So to get into the position, once again, you're on the floor. You're going to rock back so that you're sitting back kind of on that tailbone. So you want to get a good, comfortable spot in there. Legs come up. Drop that lower back once those legs come up. Your hands are on each side of your legs.
looking up and over those toes. Shoulder blades are up off the ground. Engage those abdominal muscles. And what I mean by that is contract those muscles. Nice and tight, navel to spine. You're going to now pump your hands past your thighs. Now it's called the 100. Wait for it, because you're supposed to do 100 of these pumping movements. I won't do 100. I won't keep you here that long. But the whole trick with this is to make sure that that navel stays close to that spine and you have a lot of control. So if it's your first time doing the 100 and you can't get to 100, don't worry about it. Get to 10, 15. It's all about building strength and stamina and building on the strength of those muscles within that core group. So again, these are just 5 of the mat-based exercises that we were talking about today. I encourage any kind of activity, days like this, at least in the Northeast, where it's really hard to get outside for exercise. Inside is going to be key. However, I'm going to put a plug in for exercise in cold weather because we do know, and there's so much more research available now about exercising in cold weather and what cold weather can do to mobilize and create what's called brown fat. So that is brown adipose tissue. BAT is the name for that. That's very different than white adipose tissue, which is the fat that's associated with obesity. Brown adipose tissue is actually something that is helpful because it speeds up your metabolism, which is a good thing. You want that. So a little exercise in the cold, not such a bad thing. It's actually good for you if you like it. I would encourage you, however, to watch your footing. There are inexpensive gizmos. If you are going to head out in any kind of snowy, icy weather, do you guys know what these things are?
Are those the to put on the bottom of your sneakers? Yeah.
Micro cleats.
I mean, boots or whatever. Yeah, you wouldn't go out with your sneakers on a day like today. I can tell you that much.
So these are more for when the snow has cleared and you just want more of a secure footing. You know, obviously you don't want to be out there and run the risk of falling. It's just not worth it. So,
Courtney, be
yeah.
careful because this is for general audiences.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So?
Never mind.
Ha ha ha. You're so funny.
I can't help it. I'm from Brooklyn.
I know, but we're now trying to create some exercises. Like if you now the cleat things you just showed, that would be for just walking or running, or what would you?
I would say really predominantly for walking or for hiking to get better footing. I would think I've never run in these.
No, it doesn't look like you could.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably bend. They're strong steel, but I think that it would probably, bend them. But having said that, walking outside, snowshoeing. I mean, I know we're all over, and there may be people they never get any snow, but we're trying to make this so that if it's fabulous weather where you are, fantastic, and you can get outside. But we're always trying to remove barriers to exercise, right, and get people outside. So forget all the brown fat information. That's interesting to know, but the reality is it feels good to be outside in the fresh air, exercising, whether it's 75 degrees and sunny, or whether it's snowy and 30 degrees. It feels good to get outside, nice burst of fresh air on your face and doing some kind of exercise outdoors.
Yeah, I felt good actually walking in the snow, except when I turned around and the north wind was blowing into my face. And when I got home, not only was my pup completely full of snow, but my hat, my face, everything, it was just it looked like the abominable snowman, snow woman or whatever. But that was cool.
With weather what you have, when I lived back east in New York and I would do my running, when I went outside, I lived off to Central Park, so I used to do Central Park Reservoir. I would wear layers, and then the body would heat up, and I start taking off layers after layers. I found the most important thing in that type of weather is to wear a hat, because I forget what it was. I think they said like 80 to 90% of your heat comes out of the top of your head.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right. So generally, if you're out in cooler weather, just like you said, Malcolm, so that your base layer, so what's resting against your skin, cotton is not your friend here, right? You want a wicking material. It's usually a synthetic that's able to pull moisture away from you. So that's your base layer. Your next one is going to be your warming layer. Right, so tips, maybe something fleece, made of fleece. And then your top layer is for wind, prevent wind. So something that can block wind. And if you try to go a combination of those three with, of course, like you said, Malcolm, a hat, something to cover your extremities, your hands, you're generally, in a good spot to be exercising in inclement weather.
Yeah, one other thing which I wanted to comment on, the way you do the exercise is so your muscles are there already, so you do it with ease. I know I do some of those exercises and my legs or my back or my shoulders are so tight that I look at it and I say, oh no, I can't do that. What should we do to warm up before we even attempt to do that? They always say you have to warm up the body a bit.
Yeah, even if you just walk in place, march in place, do a couple of jumping jacks. Even if you're not doing a full jumping jack, you can do a modified where you're just pulling a leg to one side or the other. Anything to get that blood flowing. If you live in a house that's got some steps or an apartment building with some steps, all right, hike up this, walk up and down the steps a couple of times. That's enough just to get that blood flowing so your muscles are on the warmer side and not cold.
Right.
That would be a great way to get the blood flowing so that you're not exercising on cold muscles.
And another thing which I would suggest is people who try it takes a while before you could do it. In other words, if you do it, don't give up after 2 times and think you're gonna conquer that exercise. It might take weeks or even months before you really do it correctly. Is that so?
Oh, absolutely. It's a practice. I mean, even with like a yoga practice, it is a practice. It's, so whether it's yoga or not, everything takes some time. So like you said, I mean, you might not be able to do, maybe you can only do one of these. Maybe you're just going to start with the elbow plank because that's what you can do right now. Great. As you get stronger, maybe you add something else, or you don't do 3 sets of something. Maybe you can only do 1 set. And that's the way to definitely approach it. First of all, because it's reasonable and you want to come back to it. You want it to be enjoyable, right? You don't want it to be painful or fun, and to prevent injury. So the whole point of this is to stay strong and not to put yourself in a situation where you're getting hurt.
Anyway, guys, I think our time is about up.
Oh,
But I wanted to remind the audience that they always can go, this Zoom will be on like forever and ever. So all you have to do is go back. If you don't know the positions, come up to Courtney on Health, malcolmpresents.com, Courtney on Health, and remember the date, February 1. And you'll see it so you know the positions that you have to get into so you don't get confused.
right. And that's a good thing to know. Also, they're on the manyshadesofgreen.com too. So, and you're on, what's your platforms, Courtney?
So you can always find me at CLG Wellness on Instagram, and then on Facebook, if you search for Courtney on Health, you can find that page there, and I'll be posting the link there as well. So lots of places to go and find it if you don't remember or you want to go back and then take a look at the exercises again.
Okay, guys, I'm looking forward to next week to see what else you have in store for us.
Happy Groundhog Day tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
We'll see if there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. I think I know the answer.
We'll see if we need to see the groundhog.
We'll see. I don't even know. We'll see.
You're only expecting 2 feet of snow, but I won't say anything. Anyway,
all right.
keep safe.
Stay well.
Until then.
Thank you.
Bye.